Hi everyone, it is so great to be with you once again for another Bible love story. And today we're going to be looking at the story of Esther and reading from Esther chapter 2. And the principle that we're going to be considering today is seeking wise counsel when it comes to godly relationships. So let's dive right into the word. After these things, when the wrath of the king was pacified, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then the king's servants who served him said, "Let beautiful young virgins be brought for the king. Let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the beautiful young virgins to the citadel of Susa, to the woman's house, to the custody of Haggai the king's eunuch, keeper of the women. Let cosmetics be given to them, and let the maiden who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti." The thing pleased the king, and he did so. There was a certain Jew in the citadel of Susa, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captives who had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. He brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The maiden was fair and beautiful, and when her father and mother were dead, Mordecai took her for his own daughter. So when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together to the citadel of Susa, to the custody of Haggai, Esther was taken into the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. The maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness from him. He quickly gave her cosmetics and her portions of food, and the 7 choice maidens who were to be given her out of the king's house. He moved her and her maidens to the best place in the woman's house. Esther had not made known her people nor her relatives, because Mordecai had instructed her that she should not make it known. Mordecai walked every day in front of the court of the woman's house to find out how Esther was doing and what would become of her. Each young woman's turn came to go into the king after her purification for 12 months, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet fragrances and with preparations for beautifying women. The young woman then came to the king like this. Whatever she desired was given to her to go out of the woman's house to the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the next day she returned to the second woman's house, to the custody of the king's eunuch, who kept the concubines. She came in to the king no more, unless the king delighted in her, and she was called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken for her as his daughter, came to go into the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's eunuch, the keeper of the woman, advised. Esther obtained favour in the sight of all of those who looked at her. So Esther was taken to the king, into his royal house in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. The king loved Esther more than all the women, and she obtained favour and kindness in his sight, more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast for all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he proclaimed a holiday in the provinces, and gave gifts according to the king's bounty. The principle I want to encourage you with today through Esther's love story is to seek wise counsel when it comes to relationships. Esther sought and implemented advice from Mordecai and Haggai as she was finding her marriage partner. If she had not taken this advice, the story might have been very different. I want you to note that the people that Esther heard from weren't her peers or her friends. She went to her authority figure and to the man who understood the ways of the palace. Likewise, when we are considering a mate, we need to seek wisdom from our authority, whether that be from our parents or our pastor, and from those who have walked this journey before us. The Bible regularly encourages us to seek wise counsel when we are making decisions, and this is especially true when it comes to marriages, as this is one of the biggest decisions of our life. God doesn't tell us to seek wise counsel to spoil our fun or ruin our plans, but it is for our own protection. When we are attracted to a person, our hormones can go crazy, and it's so easy to get caught up in emotions and make the wrong decisions, and I'm speaking from experience here. When we get external advice, we are hearing from an impartial source who can tell us the reality of a situation and a relationship. It's really important that we don't just ask for advice, but we implement the advice we receive as well. We might be told it's the wrong person or the wrong timing because the person we get advice from can see something we can't. If that's the case, we need to take a step back. However, if it's the right person and the right timing, wise counsel can help us prepare to enter a godly marriage and become the wife or husband God intends us to be. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this Bible love story encouraged you today and that you will implement the principle of seeking wise counsel. If you enjoyed the video and this Bible love story series, why not give us a thumbs up and share it with a friend?